What's up guys, welcome to the video. I'm Tizra Mehmet and today I'll be giving my insights, breakdowns, predictions, whatever you want to call it, into UFC 303. You know what, this is a really good stacked card. I'm going to be doing the prelims. I'm going to be missing the early prelims. I can do a video on them, but I don't think many people care about them, to be honest, on this card. Because honestly, this is a good card, so I think we're just going to talk about the prelims, then the main card. And so yeah, if you just want to see the main card, just skip through the video. You'll be able to tell when I'm on it because I'll be hovering over the fires on it. And yeah, I'm going to give my insights, my predictions into who I think is going to win every single fight. And yeah, if you like the video, leave a like. If you're new here, subscribe. I make UFC content all the time, like weekly uploads. We're talking at least 2 a week. So yeah, let's get stuck right into things. Starting off with Peyton Talbot versus Yanis Gamori. I'm going to be honest, guys. Yanis Gamori is a can. And Peyton Talbot is a good striker, but I will say one thing: these odds are crazy. Okay, like yes, Peyton is way better than this guy. You know, he's a can from France. I'm a bit confused by the odds because obviously this is a fight. He's just been given a free win. Like they're trying to promote him because this guy's been getting mad hype after he beat Cameron Simon. And yeah, he's good on the feet. I don't really think he should be that big of a favourite, but he'll be expecting to get this one done. He'll finish him within 2 rounds, I can tell you that. I'm not going to spend too much time on this fight because it's a layup, let's be honest. So I haven't got too much interest in it. So yeah, moving on. Gene Silva versus Charles Jourdain. Now, Gene Silva actually looks quite good on the regional scene when you look at his fights in smaller promotions and stuff. But I'm going to be honest, he does I'm pretty sure the last basically 90% of his wins come in the first round, and both his losses are decisions. So if you use your brain and you watch his fights, which I have, you can see that this guy obviously struggles when he can't finish people in the first round. And the reason being, he probably isn't the best, but he's dangerous, okay? He throws power, he throws elbows, he's heavy-handed, he's got really good power. And he can find a finish. He's got he's got a bit of a killer instinct in him that a lot of fighters lack these days. He'll go for a knee at the right time, stuff like that, just to find knockouts. However, you think with that he should probably be beating Charles Jourdain. The problem is the guys he's been knocking out, they basically just stand in front of him. Okay, they let it happen to a degree. So they just stand there and then get chinned. Okay, so when someone like Charles Jourdain, who is actually going to move side to side, is against him, I think he's going to find it way more difficult. I know he's just knocked someone out, Weston Wilson, but he's terrible as well. And this guy's actually really small for featherweight, I think. In every single fight, he looks undersized compared to the other person. And Charles Jourdain isn't tiny. And he's also a step above in competition here. So honestly, Gene Silva has a chance in the first 3-4 minutes. I get why he's only a slight underdog because he is dangerous. And Charles Jourdain is hittable. Don't get me wrong. He's definitely not going to leave without a scratch. I'd be surprised if he did. However, he's just a lot better than what he's used to, and I feel like he's going to struggle. And if it gets out the first round, he's not going to win. Okay, he'll get his legs chewed off. He'll get his body kicked in, and that's just going to make him gas even quicker. And he clearly has a cardio problem, and he does have kind of sloppy technique. And I know he's been getting finishes and he's looked good, but it's because I'm telling you, he has been going against really bad opponents who just kind of stand in front of him and get knocked out. So yeah, I mean, I encourage you to go and look at his fights, Gene Silva's fights. Yes, they're good finishes, and this guy has got legit power, really good boxing, knockout power, but his opponents are not moving and they're just standing flat-footed, in his reach. So I don't really know what they're doing there. They're kind of expecting to get knocked out. So yeah, I'm gonna go Jourdain by decision because I just don't think Silva's gonna find a knockout on someone who can actually move around and has a brain. So yeah, moving on. Cub Swanson versus Andre Fili. Now, Andre Fili probably should win this one, right? Cub Swanson's on his way out. This dude's old. He's really old and he's been in loads of fights. He's looked pretty good as of recent though, but Andre Fili has looked terrible as of recent. However, there are levels to the fighting game. Obviously, Fili's coming off a KO loss, but I'd expect him to beat Swanson, and if not, he just what are you doing? But I think Andre Fili is going to win this one. Swanson's old. He's not going to be getting any better. Fili's got time for improvement. And I mean, he is a bit chinny, so I wouldn't be surprised. You know, this one is a bit of a coin flip to me. I think this one's more 50-50 than Jourdain Gene Silva, because I think Philly's unreliable at best. So yeah, I will be picking Philly to win this one. I think we're going to say Philly decision. Yeah, probably Philly by decision. I don't think he's going to find a finish on Cub, but you never know. He is old, so you know, easy to put. Moving on, we have Joe Pyfer versus Marc-Andre Barriault. Now, I'm going to be honest. Joe Pyfer did get fraud checked hard. However, Marc-Andre Barriault isn't very good, okay? He's just bang average at everything. That is how I'd summarize him. And like, if we look at the stats here, let's just have a look here. So, you see, this is a weird one because of the way Joe Pyfer's fought and then being fraud checked by Hermanti. His stats are a bit weird. They're kind of not very good representative data. However, his are perfect because he's been in a lot of fights and has fought consistently the same. So if we're looking here, absorb per minute, he absorbs nearly 6 strikes per minute, and they're significant as well. And the thing is, that's a problem because when you're facing Chris Curtis, it's not that big of a deal. But when you're facing Pyfer, who can actually land and has okay boxing, it is a big deal. Furthermore, this is only a 3-round fight, so I don't think Pyfer's going to have to worry too much about the cardio. And if it goes to grappling, I think he's still way better than Mark. He's got a wrestling background. He's got a nasty double leg. He's got good entries. And even if he's not that good, like jiu-jitsu wise and stuff, he can just lay on top of Mark. And I don't think he's talented enough to get up against Joe. I just think his grappling is better as well. I just think he can just basically lay on top of him. Because even if you're worse than someone at grappling, but only slightly worse, if you're on top of them in UFC, you've got an advantage. Because I know in jiu-jitsu, you know, when you're on top, you're not always winning. However, in grappling, like 90% of the time, if you're on top, you're winning. You know what I mean? Unless you're like stuck in a triangle guard or something like that. But yeah, so I'm picking Joe Pyfer here. I think he's going to knock him out within the first 2 rounds. Because the problem with Mark is he loves a scrap. And that's good when you're fighting people that don't really have power like Joe. But Joe's got hands. He's young. He'll be training hard after his loss. And this is exactly what he needs to bounce back. Let's be honest, Marc-Andre Barriault, he's just fighting for paychecks now. And Joe Pyfer will be wanting to get the performance of the night bonus as well. Because it's like 75k and he's still going to be on a relatively bad contract in terms of pay. So I expect for Joe Pyfer to go out looking for a finish. And I think he'll find it in the first 2 rounds. It's going to be over. But yeah, I'm picking Joe Pyfer by KO there. Pretty obvious pick, I think. Moving on. Ian Machado Gary versus Michael Page. Now, I'm not even kidding, guys. I think Michael Page is going to win. And I know he's old and it's not prime MVP. But one of the reasons I'm picking him is because Ian Gary his build is so bad for MMA. Now, I know you're going to think he's tall, like he's literally got a good build. But it's all good until you get to his arms. This guy's arms are so short. He's got like, I think it's 74 inches of reach or something like that. I don't know. He's got a really short reach for how tall he is, which kind of makes him like weird because he tries to like fight like he's like tall and lengthy, but he's got really short arms. So he like actually can't really use any length and he kind of disadvantages himself sometimes. And Michael Page actually is tall and lengthy. Like, let's just look at the stats here, the reach. So here's the reach. So there you go. He's got like a 5-inch roughly reach advantage on him. And that's big trouble for Gary because he already struggles with reach. And I don't think he's going to be able to hit Page a lot. And the thing with Page is he like has about 5 exchanges per round, okay? He like darts in and he darts out. And that's literally his whole strategy. But it's really frustrating and it works. And trust me, Gary is so going to get frustrated. He's just that kind of guy. I think he'll lose it because he's used to basically dictating where fights go and like the pace because obviously every other fight he's been the better striker. But I think these lot are very even. But then add the fact that Page isn't an idiot. And he's going to stay on the outside, frustrate Gary. He's going to annoy him in the cage with taunts and stuff like that. And I think we're looking at a Page win by decision here. He could catch him. Gary is very chinny. I'm going to be honest. Gary has a suspect chin. He just hasn't been hit that much. He got dropped by Sun Kanan with a good timed left hook counter. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we got like a round 2 or 3 Page finish. but I'm picking Page by decision. I mean, he's got spinning elbow entries. You know, the guy's just got he's really slick, out of the box. Definitely the most dynamic striker Gary's ever faced. Way better than the likes of Son Kanan. And I know he fought Jeff Neal, but Jeff Neal's like just a boxer. You know, he doesn't have to worry about that, and he's so different from Page. And I think Gary actually kind of likes like boxers coming towards him, and Page is such a tricky matchup for him. I'm picking Page to win this. Like I said, decision or maybe a late finish for Page. But yeah, I don't think we're going to see any grappling in this matchup. I think that would be really embarrassing for Gary if he does do that. It would kind of be like an admission that he's actually worse at striking than Page. But I think Page is going to win this, and I hope he does, because it would be hilarious to see Page against like one of the top 5 in welterweight. That would be genuinely funny, because this dude's like 36, 37 nearly. And yeah, it's just a bit of a fever dream, to be honest, to see like an old Michael Page doing well, but he's still quick. He never really had like tons of power. He was more just like accurately landing knockout shots, which is kind of why he's getting finishes. And he's got like sharp elbows, like he's got like really pointy elbows. So yeah, he's always lethal. And also, like I said, Gary's got like he's quite chinny. He leaves his chin quite up in the air. You know, kicks are there. Anything like that's there for MVP. So yeah, I think MVP is going to basically frustrate him a lot and get a win, like a decision win. Gary might take the first, but I think MVP will basically invest enough to get the second and the third. Also, I don't think Gary's going to be able to leg kick him. I think that's going to be his game plan, and I just don't think it's going to work. So yeah. Moving on, I mean, I'm not even going to break this fight down. Mera Silva's going to win. Macy Chachon is not good. Moving on. Anthony Smith versus Roman Dolidze. Now, I see a lot of people picking Anthony Smith, but I'm picking Roman Dolidze. And I know Roman Dolidze is terrible on the feet and got outstruck by Marvin Vettori, but you've got to remember that Anthony Smith is terrible, okay? And this guy only lost his last fight because the guy literally jumped into a guillotine and didn't know how to fight it. All that guy had to do was basically grab Smith's hand and pull it down, and he would have been completely fine. But he panicked, and I'm pretty sure Vitor Pacino doesn't have a lot of like ground experience, so he just panicked and tapped, okay? But I'm telling you now, he's terrible. He's out of shape. This is a light heavyweight as well, so it might be Anthony's one advantage is the fact that this fight is at light heavyweight, so he actually might have a bit of a size advantage in this matchup. But Roman Dolidze, even though he looks lost on the feet sometimes, I don't think Anthony Smith is good on the feet either. I mean, like every single time he's been on the feet, he's been losing fights recently. So yeah, not very satisfying to like pick Smith to like knock him out or anything like that, personally. And yeah, he's hittable, and if this fight goes to the ground, I think Dolidze is going to thrive. Obviously, that's kind of where he's best. So he's probably going to be looking to take it to the ground. And knowing Smith, like, he will do something stupid. You know, this guy has bad fight IQ. I wouldn't be surprised if, like, he took him down and then, like, got stuck in Roman's guard. And then, like, Roman was, like, throwing up submissions. And, like, he actually got one of them. Because, like, Smith does like to make it difficult for himself. I mean, he literally could have beat John Jones but said no. And he would have got a rematch and got to fight him again, and then he could have like tried to beat him. But I mean, you just don't know with these guys, do you? There will probably be a size advantage for Smith, like I said. But I mean, other than that, the reaches are the same. Leg reach isn't hugely influential in this fight, and Smith's a tiny bit bigger. So yeah, I'm picking Dolidze. I'm picking him by decision. I think this will be a really boring fight, I'm going to be honest, guys. But you never know. People are picking Smith, so we'll have to see. But I just can't trust Smith. I'm going to be honest. I just can't. He's taken a lot of damage recently too. Moving on, featherweight. Okay, Brian Ortega, Diego Lopez. I'm picking Diego Lopez by KO. And the reason is, Brian Ortega is so hittable. In his last fight, he took so much... I mean, he takes damage in all his fights. Who am I kidding? But he's so hittable. This guy is literally a punching bag. And all his wins, like 90% of his wins, are just because the person messes up and gasses, and then he like takes them down, and they lost on the ground with him in the BJJ world. But obviously that isn't going to happen here. Diego Lopez is legit on the ground. This guy's got grappling experience. So I'm basically saying that Brian Ortega isn't going to dominate him on the ground. He might be better than him on the ground, but it's not going to be like such a skill discrepancy like we see in some of his other fights, where he'll just take someone down and like find us up within 2 minutes because they're completely clueless in the jiu-jitsu world. But I'm picking Diego here. I mean, this dude has loads of power for a featherweight, because like featherweight is like one of the least lethal divisions. If you look at like finishing rates, they never knock each other out. It's a really strange phenomenon. It has like one of the lowest finishing rates in the entire weight class, in all the weight classes. But Diego Lopez is bringing it up because this guy's been smoking everyone they've put in his way. He's much bigger than Ortega, and he can tank the weight cut because he's still young. He's got more reach. And like I said, this guy's way better on the feet, and I can see him finishing Ortega like pretty easily. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he makes this look easy. Brian Ortega also on Embedded has been looking really unfocused. I mean, I get everyone has different methods to like train and stuff, but he looks like he's just kind of getting a paycheck at this point. But yeah, so I'm picking Diego Lopez to smoke him because Brian Ortega is so hittable, and the reason he's survived so many fights is because he's been fighting guys that like don't really finish fights. So he fought Volk, he fought Holloway, and I know Holloway's like more dangerous now, but this was when Holloway was like known for like not being able to finish people. He had like 88 punch power in UFC 3, or like 86 was pretty low, and basically what I'm saying is, Diego Lopez is the most dangerous guy Ortega's fought in ages. And I know he fought Yair, but I'm telling you, Yair's ground and pound is awful. I mean, how did he not finish him there? So, you know, we've seen Lopez. He's got killer instinct. He'll find the finish. He's been doing it against, like, everyone recently. And, yeah, he's just really solid prospect. And I think he actually has a good chance at being champion one day. And he's young too. So, yeah, trust in Diego Lopez. Don't be surprised if this guy's featherweight champ in a few years, like 2 years maybe. But yeah, Brian Ortega, I think he's going to get smoked. And he's only a slight underdog, which is kind of surprising to me. Moving on. Main event, Alex Pereira, Jiri Prochazka. Now, I made a really detailed, in-depth review, prediction about this fight. So I'm going to go over it again, but I'll link that video in the comments below so you guys can watch that, and you'll get like 10 minutes of me just talking about this fight. I'm going Jiri. Last time I went Pereira, I thought he's just better than Prochazka, standing up, simple as that. And then watching the fight, I'd never been so nervous about Pereira, I'm going to be honest, because the first round was really nervy. And the thing I hate about Alex, I've said this in the other breakdown, is that he doesn't move his head enough for me. I just don't like it, and sometimes it's like he doesn't react to strikes. So I'm kind of predicting that to be his downfall. I think it's going to catch up to him. He's also getting old as well. So yeah, that's not really something I like. And in the first fight, it was actually really close until the finish. So not exactly filling me with confidence if I was going to pick Pereira, which I'm not. I'm going by Jiri KO. I think he's going to knock him out in the first round. Maybe. It's going to be the first two probably. I see people saying like Jiri late finish. But honestly, like Yuri's most dangerous at the start. And I think Pereira would get in there, he'll get relaxed and cool and like blah, blah, blah. And then I think Yuri's just going to throw some wild stuff and catch him. And Alex's chin's kind of like, it's kind of worrying, I'm going to be honest, guys. Like, he hasn't got a good chin. It's not like terrible or anything. It's just not amazing. And Jiri is like one of the hardest hitters in the light heavyweight division. And he's so dynamic with like what he throws. It's just a nightmare matchup. And also his unorthodox stuff actually like frustrates Pereira. And you can tell in the first fight with like the uppercuts he's throwing, like it's just annoying Pereira, and it's like upsetting his rhythm because he's used to fighting like kickboxers with kickboxing style, and he does well against them because he knows what they're going to do, but he's better than them. So he'll always just chew their legs up and then finish them. And also I think Jiri will deal with the leg kicks better this time because he knows what he's basically getting himself into. His last fight, he basically took loads, but then just kind of Jiri'd his way through it and then ended up smoking Rakic. So yeah, I'm going by Jiri by like maybe late first round KO or early second round KO here. And also, if this fight goes to the ground, I'm picking Jiri. And also, people have been saying a lot about this. I don't think it plays a huge factor, I'm going to be honest. Because I just kind of think like fighting is like, if you're better than them, you're probably like, most of the time you're going to beat them. Not to say the best fighter always wins, but like most of the time they do, because there's a lot of flukes in MMA. People are saying like Alex Pereira has been doing like a world tour, which he has, and here he's just been training, which is true. It isn't going to help Pereira anyway, okay? And also, the dude's old. He has broken toes, I'm pretty sure. So, like, if Pereira might be hesitant to throw kicks on that foot, I mean, obviously, he'll know better than I do. I'm sure he wouldn't have taken this fight if he doesn't think he can win it. Obviously, he's the champion. He wants those pay-per-view points. But maybe, just maybe, he knows he's old. He's like 36, 37. He's at the latter end of his career anyway. And I mean, I think if he gets finished again, he may not fight again, I'm going to be honest, because he just probably doesn't care about the belt anymore. And yeah, I think Alex Pereira, latter end of his career, like I said, Jiri isn't. He's still in the middle of his career. And Yuri's definitely going to want it more. And yeah, it's just, I feel like it's just everything's like aiming for Yuri, just like last time. It was looking like Pereira had everything in his favour. So yeah, but who knows? Maybe I'm wrong, but that's my prediction. Thank you guys so much for watching. Most importantly, leave a comment down below and let me know your predictions in the comments. It's interesting, it's fun, it's nice to see what someone else thinks. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new here. Post MMA content all the time. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you.